I said that I would pop back on if the Bengals somehow beat the Steelers, and they did. Two crazy shockers this weekend, with the Jets beating the Rams as 17-point underdogs, and now the Bengals beating the division rival Steelers, and that was a 2-touchdown spread. With Ryan Finley at quarterback, the Steelers are just terrible. Absolutely awful. We all knew that the 11-0 wasn't real, but now they lost to Washington in a game they should have won. They were up 14-0, in control of that game. Lost to Buffalo, but they didn't really look great. And they lost pretty handily. And they lost to the Bengals. I did not see that coming at all. And now it changes the whole landscape in the AFC. So now the Steelers' last two games are against the Colts and the Browns. And if they don't beat the Colts, with the Browns playing the Jets this week, that Brown-Steeler game in Week 17 could determine the division. So if the Steelers lose to the Colts, I could definitely see that AFC North divisional game between Pittsburgh and Cleveland being flexed to Sunday night in Week 17. If Pittsburgh loses to the Colts. We'll see. Maybe they turn it around. That game is in Pittsburgh. But they went from being like a sure 1 seed or, maybe 2. Obviously, Kansas City was always there. But it looked like for so long, Pittsburgh and Kansas City in the AFC Championship for sure. Now, no chance. Buffalo seems clearly better than Pittsburgh and all those other slew of teams in the AFC that have great records. Roethlisberger looks shot. It's been a great career, and you just never know, but it's not good. It's really not good. It's just amazing how they went from this unstoppable force to just pretty much vulnerable against any team they play. I mean, Cincinnati, so Ryan Finley, he was the 4th round draft pick of the Bengals last season. Joe Burrow goes down, and they didn't even want to go to him. They didn't even have enough confidence to go to him as the starter. They chose Brandon Allen, who's a journeyman who had some time with the Bengals, but he wasn't on the roster, and they brought him back in, and they started Allen over Finley, and then Allen got hurt. So they were basically forced, they didn't want to play Ryan Finley, and they won the game. And it was looking like they were going to blow it. It was 17-0 at half. Same score as the Bucs versus the Falcons yesterday. And it looked really good for the Steelers early in the second half. All of a sudden, they cut it to 17-10. But then the Bengals made it a 2-touchdown game again. And then the Steelers, they made it 24-17. And they would eventually get the ball back late with about 2 minutes to go. And they just couldn't move the ball. Really unbelievable stuff. Like I said, I had to come back on because I just never thought that this was going to happen. To have 2 upsets like this in 1 week is remarkable. And just goes to show you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. Can never be too sure. And I learned that tonight because I really thought that as bad as Pittsburgh's been, there's no way that Cincinnati's going to be able to move the ball on that great Pittsburgh defense. And they were able to. They really were. And so now the AFC is completely in flux as far as the seeding. And I think that you have to give Indy a chance to beat Pittsburgh this week. And if it happens, then I'm very interested to see. Maybe somehow Cleveland ends up winning this division. And it just goes to show how big that loss was to Baltimore on Monday Night Football last week. And luckily for Pittsburgh, they already clinched a playoff berth. They already did. Because like we've seen how good this AFC is, honestly, they could have went from 11-0 to 11-5 and not made it. Like, you're looking at the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore could finish 11-5 and not make it. So Pittsburgh's fortunate to have had some good tiebreakers. I mean, how remarkable would that have been? That won't be happening, but it's going to make things awfully interesting for the next couple of weeks. And very excited to see what now happens with this team moving forward. And I have to say, I think if you're in the AFC, this is a team that you want to play come playoff time. I'll speak to you guys next week.